How do you get started coding? Well, what I wouldn't recommend is what I did, which is to get books. I started trying to learn code with Python for Dummies book. Now, if you've that didn't work out, if you've never coded anything before, I would actually recommend you take tutorials just to get you used to the process, like Code Academy or Code Canyon or any online tutorial sites, especially if they're free. But if you want to get really good after you get the basics down, I don't think you need to code multiple different languages or multiple projects or nothing like that. I think once you got the idea down with something basic, the next thing that's going to help you is having a project that you're really excited about, because every time I try to code something, it's hard, especially if I've never done it before, right? Just the learning new stuff, the false leads and things that are supposed to work, but they don't. It's never been easy to me. So something you're really excited about is going to give you enough motivation to complete the project without quitting or getting a headache, right? So I say find something you're really interested in. Think big, right? Now, some things may be too big if you're a beginner, but if you're patient, like now's the best time ever to really be coding. You can use ChatGPT, Gemini, get you some basic, template script. It's not always perfect. Um, then you have, the classic Stack Overflow, or you could even check out GitHub repositories. Or worst case scenario, you go straight to the documentation. Now, most documentation sucks. You know, I'm just gonna be honest with you. In my experience, it's the last place I really want to go. I'd rather go on a blog or a Medium post and get what I really want, because the documentation is just horrible a lot of times. So you combine Stack Overflow with Google. Any of those methods typically can get you what you want. But I'm gonna be honest, ChatGPT has really accelerated your ability to search and find decent info. It's not always perfect, like I said, but I'd say you're going to be 10 to 100 times faster with ChatGPT than you would have been without it. And that's just because of the speed of info, right? Like, you don't have to search through a million Stack Overflow posts anymore. Now, obviously, if ChatGPT doesn't give you what you want, yeah, you're going to have to go, to more traditional sources. But I think it's amazing. Um, and there's people like me who blog and share what they found and think they got stuck on. They share the solutions. So you really, I would tell most people, if you are logical at all, if you're into problem solving at all, if you're technical at all, you really don't have any good reason not to try coding, especially if you have something in mind that you'd like to see built or like to bring into reality. There's some stuff I still avoid, even though I've been coding almost 10 years now. And that's stuff like the really difficult languages. So I only deal with JavaScript and Python because to me they're the most accessible, most intuitive. I would not recommend most people mess with like Java or C++ or C. Those are that's for hardcore people. I'm not like that. I just like to make stuff that's useful. Um, and the other thing I don't really mess with much is frameworks. Now, I have taken tutorials and made apps and side projects with Vue.js, which is supposed to be the most user friendly of the JavaScript frameworks. But personally, I don't much like it, and it just never became intuitive for me, even with all the usage. It's kind of confusing. So I like to mess with a lot of vanilla JavaScript, Node.js type stuff. Um, and it has its limitations, but I think it's more accessible, it's more intuitive, and it's simpler for me. Like, I know when I'm putting on an event listener, an on-click listener, and on an input or select listener. I don't have to worry about, hey, what's this feature thing, what's this logic thing. I don't really understand how it works. Is it going to do what I want? I just use what I know, and so far so good. So that would be my advice for you guys just starting out. Good luck.